All right, good afternoon, YouTube. So, latest update after all weekend fighting. I actually had a rant video I was going to do, but it's on the missus's phone, and decided not to do a rant because didn't feel it was appropriate for me ranting on a new YouTube channel. What I'm going to say though, after 2 days of fighting and fighting and fighting, and looking for missing screws, missing bolts, missing attachments because people don't take things apart, put them back together correctly. Uh, Sorry, neighbor just pulled in the yard. Uh, After 2 days of fighting with it, I've been tearing apart the doors. One, the door cards were shot. They were rotted out. The vinyl was ripped on both of them severely. Almost every one of the push pins was missing. It was being held in place by basically self-tapping sheet metal screws, and they were in pretty rough shape. So I tore the door panels apart, made new cards, or at least made one new card. The other door panels, not bad, but wasn't my best job in the world. Rewrapped them with vinyl. Unfortunately, I could not find a company that still made reproduction vinyl for this car, so I had to do it with a straight black vinyl, which this is a driver, this is not concourse. For those of you expecting me to do concourse work, sorry, but if I want to do concourse, I'd have to spend a lot more money than I have available to me to do one. So here, got the door panels torn apart, and discovered that the previous owner who tore it apart did not know how to put the window regulators back in. Some of the parts of the window regulators were sitting in a milk crate in the back of the car, which explained a lot. Found out some of the door assemblies on the inside of the door weren't put in correctly, nor was the doors, even the hinges on the driver's side door weren't even tight. The screws were like not even snugged up, so I had to do some serious work. Half the bolts for the driver's side door were missing for the regulator assembly, and they are the screwiest screw or bolts I've ever seen. Hardware store starts at little small. It's a 10 by 24 didn't fit it. Well, it fits somewhat, not perfect. A 1/4 inch by 20 was too big. It's almost like it's a 3/16 or and I tell you, it's smaller than a quarter. It's somewhere in between. It's 3/16 big and quarter. Yeah, 3/16. Rough thread. Cannot find any of them anywhere. So I did what I could. I used a lot of 10 by 20 machine bolts to get this thing back together again somewhat correctly. At least workable condition, so I can actually roll my windows up now. Made my new door vinyls like I was saying, and let me show you the finished product. So there's driver's side door panel. There's some wrinkles in it. I understand. I am not an upholstery guy by any means, shape, or form. But compared to a ripped out, nasty, falling apart door panel, I will take that. That's something that I can drive around and say, you know what, I did that work. I didn't pay someone to do it. I did it. I used 1/4 inch laminated pegboard, 1/4 inch thick laminated pegboard, cut it to shape. I used the old door panel that was still, the shape was still good on it, so I used that as my template to cut it and mark my holes. If you notice, there's no door handle on this side right now. I am going to be going to the junkyard tomorrow to try to maybe find one that fits it. I've got my holes already pre-cut. There's one there. I very lightly scored it just enough so I could get so when I go, oh, there's the other one. I very lightly scored it so I can get the screws through it for when I go to find it. The door rolls up nice. It's nice and tight now. Yeah, it's still a little bit tight because, well, it's 60 years old. You'd be a little tight too. But it rolls up nice, sets into its channel perfect, goes up and down. So I'm taking that. Passenger side came out pretty good. The window on that side actually rolled up and down, but he had put the panel that he did not put on this side. He put the plate on the outside of the door panel, in between the card and the door itself, instead of on the inside. So the regulator was actually kind of fighting itself. So I took that, flipped it around the correct way, mounted it back in, greased everything up, used some lubriplate grease because that's what the factory recommends, and it works. Lubricates still pretty good. I'm gonna say to all budding mechanics out there, all you young guys that are getting into doing something like this, take your time. Listen to the old guys that do this a lot. They've got good tips on figuring out how to do things. Read the forums. 90% of the stuff that I've been needing to find the last probably 3 months on this car, forums. The AMC forum, Classic Cars forum, Muscle Cars forum, stuff like that. Read the forums. They've got good information on it. Another thing, if you're driving an old car, you're working in an old vehicle where it's not like new vehicles where everything's on all data and you can just Google it or all data, do yourself a favor. That's the original 1967 Rambler Tech Manual. That's a 1966 Technical Service Manual. Check this out. Need to know something about electrical? Complete fold-out diagrams. Everything you could possibly need to know, you can find in the Tech Manual. It tells you how to adjust things. It tells you how to troubleshoot problems. I think I paid $30 a piece for those two. One of them's a reprint. The yellow one's actually a reprint. The 67 is actually a old stock in great shape, and the great thing about it is in the back of it, it had whoever the tech at the AMC dealership had actually had notes and stuff written in the back on certain like TSBs and stuff that came out. Had handwritten notes in the back, so I read through the handwritten notes and there's some good information in there. But that's about it for the day, YouTube. Just wanted to show you the after product of 2 days worth of work. Yeah, and I really was going to put a rant up about if you're going to tear something apart, keep your stuff organized. I put all my bolts that I'm taking apart in a little container so I know exactly which bolts go back where. Don't half-ass it. If you're going to do it, don't. If you're going to half-ass mechanical, don't do it. Get somebody else to do it. I know the door panels, like I said, they might be half-assed for somebody else, but to me, this is driver quality. This is something I can ride around and be comfortable in. Take your time, do it right, don't do it at all. All right, YouTube, have a great day. See you next update.